To build a document type definition document, we're going to have to name the elements that are in our XML document, and we do that with a DTD element statement. Now, elements in a DTD document are the allowed and required tags that are in our XML document. Again, notice allowed and required. We can determine that they can be or they have to be. Now, this is created with an element declaration, and here's what it looks like. Now, notice that you've got the brackets at the beginning and end, but that's as far as it gets as far as being similar to XML. Notice we begin with an exclamation point, the word element, a space, the name of the element that needs to be there, and then type. Now, type takes on somewhat of a funky syntax out here, and I'm going to show you some examples in upcoming videos. But basically, there's 4 types of types that we can put in there, and we'll get to those in just a second. The element name obviously is the XML tag that needs to show up. Then the type is the tag type, and we don't necessarily put always the tag type, but what we put in here infers the tag type. I don't know if it made any sense, but you'll see it in some examples in just a little while. There are 4 types of elements that you can name or list in those element declarations. First of all, an empty tag. We've already talked about those. This is a tag that does not contain any data. So if we're going to have those in our XML document, we have to spell them out in our DTD or they won't be validated. If it's an element only, that means it contains only child elements. Now, we don't actually put the word element only, we simply list the child elements that it will contain. And again, I'll show you an example of that. The third type is mixed. There can be a combination of child elements and character data. And then there's the any type, where we can put any content that's allowed by the DTD. Now, let's go take a look at a simple DTD, and hopefully some of this will gel just a little bit more. Now notice what I've done. I've opened on the desktop an XML document, and pay close attention that I've changed it, and I didn't make you sit through my horrible typing to get this. But notice people is the root document here, and then there's a listing for a husband. This husband has a name and an age, and then inside there is, inside the husband tag, is a wife tag that has a name for the wife and an age. And then, of course, the closing wife tag. Now, this happens on both husband listings. So in this XML document, we've listed 2 husbands. Okay, there's one, and there's one. And then the wives of those husbands. Okay? And you'll notice my wife says 29. And I won't comment on that, and I won't get into trouble either. So, now, if I want to create a document, a DTD, that describes the structure of this data, this is what it looks like. Now, you'll notice this is somewhat XML-like, but notice our element declarations here. We put the word element with the exclamation point in front. Notice people, that's our root, and inside people, we're going to have a husband tag. And notice we put the husband tag in here. We'll get to the asterisks and so forth later. So we've said, okay, you got a people tag, and inside it there's a husband tag. Now, then we mentioned the husband element. And notice we're saying inside husband is name, age, and wife. Well, there it is, name, age, and wife. Then we tell it that in the name and age tag, we want PC data, which means parsed data. There's going to be data in here that's going to be read by the XML processor when we validate. Then there's an element called wife, and inside wife is name and age. And sure enough, here's wife, and inside wife is name and age. And notice also I'm saying in here, and I didn't say it right, W name. So inside that element is W name, and then we have to tell it that since the W name hasn't been mentioned yet, age has, we have to have PC data in there as well. So really what we're doing, almost in a tree-like structure, is working our way down the document in the DTD document, telling it what tags are there and what kind of data is going to appear and what kind of tag. And notice, inside the people is the husband tag. Inside the husband tag are these tags. And then in those tags, the data that's there. We're just going to step down through in a tree-like fashion. Now, this can get really complicated in a large, complicated XML document. Again, just want to repeat, DTDs are the standard. They're not easy. They're not user-friendly necessary to build until you've done a few of them, but they do tend to be the de facto standard out there right now, so you need to be able to read them, and you need to just construct a couple of simple ones, and the light will come on pretty quickly.